Greetings, this is Trev the Geekologist, and this is about as live as it'll ever get on the Geekology channel. You saw it here first, and I've heard it here first. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I bring you HiFiMan's new flagship in-ear monitor. I bring you the Svanar, and it's not a Svanar in the works. Svanar apparently is for Swan, so it gives you an idea of the type of elegance they're looking for. Although swans aren't made of brass, and I'm led to believe that this here in-ear monitor is made from a brass driver shell. As you can see, I'm taking it out of its wrapper for the first time. I'm told this is a complete departure from the previous HiFiMan models. So let's get this cardboard outer sleeve off. And typical of their high-end models, we have a leather box. With a nice clasp and pretty much standard, very plain looking wrapping inside. A slight departure from HiFiMan's normal fit on their flagship in-ear monitors. They're 2-pin, 78mm, left and right quite clearly done there, whether it is gold plated brass or brass plated gold or something like that. It looks as if HiFiMan have already fitted a set of tips, so triple flange ear tips, double flange ear tips, and huge triple flange ear tips. And here they are, ladies and gents, unveiled for the first time. The Svanar. Very shiny. Yeah, so I think there's something underneath the tips as well to just give us a little bit extra. Anything else underneath here? I thought there was actually. Aha! So we have some ear hooks. Seems a shame really to even use these. So I'm going to avoid them for the moment. And the HiFiMan guarantee card, of course, and a description of the Svanar topology diaphragm flagship in-ear monitor. Now you, the viewer, might be wondering why these are going to be retailing at $1,995. Well, HiFiMan, as you know, makes some very elaborate, very expensive kit. Not least the HiFiMan Shangri-La Senior, which retails at $50,000. These have an impedance of 60 ohms and a sensitivity of 100 dB, which means that they're going to be they're going to need some sort of external amp probably to get the best out of them compared to putting them into your smartphone. I would imagine that anybody in the market for the Svanar will have something a little bit more sophisticated than a smartphone, or will be able to afford perhaps something a little bit posher than a smartphone when they find it doesn't quite give them what they were expecting from a flagship in-ear monitor. This is a single dynamic driver and it uses something called a topology diaphragm, which is patented by Fang, and he researched that for his PhD. So the diaphragm is unique to HiFiMan and has been patented. The design of it is curvaceous. If we just compare the design and shape to their previous flagship RE2000 silver, do you see what attention they've paid to the contours of the inner ear, or the outer part of the inner ear, should I say? So the design is described as industrial, but it's certainly more shapely and more ergonomic than their previous ones. There is brass in the front chamber and aluminium in the rear, and they've weighted it so as it sits in the sweet spot of your inner ear, which is at the bottom near the entrance to your ear canal. They claim that that will enhance both stability and comfort. The finest silver coated crystalline copper wire is what they're describing that their elegant looking cable as, and I've got to pay attention to the direction of the pin connector when connecting. It's a very easy fit when you get it in, so just be careful, but it is a very easy fit. So the left will obviously and logically be engraved on the front part of the ear shell, which makes life very much easier for this one. So I can just shove that in there, carefully of course. Now all that needs to be done is a comparative listen between HiFiMan's previous flagship. This is the RE2000 silver, and they did do an RE2000 gold, but it's as flagship as you need to worry about at this juncture for comparisons. Obviously I'm going to unplug that because I want to give this Svanar a listen straight away. That's a weighty 3.5mm jack there, definitely. Let's put that into the EF400 on low gain, non-oversampling. I'll turn the volume down to very low, and we'll get an idea as to what they look like in my ears, and I'll give you an instant idea as to how they feel. Right, so that is very much the feel of a custom in-ear monitor fit. These scalloped edges I knew would go towards creating that feel. And that's one of the best fitting earphones, arguably a better fit than the custom in-ear monitors that I had built for me, because they feel a little bit tight, because they are only as good as the measurements that are given, whereas these are a generic fit, so they've got a little bit of give in them and a little bit of comfort. Now these have come all the way from China. It's been very cold this last week in England, which is where you're hearing this from, and these are lovely and warm. So I would imagine that's a sort of a product of the aluminium and the brass. I've just had a listen to the Svanar, and I compared it to the RE2000 silver, which was their previous flagship model, or there or thereabouts. And I love the RE2000 silvers. because of their incredible mids, and they've got a lovely light mellow bass which has still got some viscerality there, so there's some air pushing against the ears when the bass kicks in. The Svanar are richer. They don't appear to take anything away from the mids that I could hear. The mids aren't as prominent because there is more bass slam in the Svanars, but the balance of the Svanars is incredible and worthy of a flagship in-ear monitor. Not only that, but they were a joy to feel in the ears. Lovely warm feeling, and that resonated into the ear with the richness of the sound. This has been a very short listening experience where I listened to a DSD of One Vision by Queen, which I've played to you before in all its glory, and these did it a great deal of justice with the EF400s. The EF400s were not turned to the very minimum setting. They needed at least a third volume, if not higher, to start to bring out the richness of those earphones. With that, my logic says to me that yes, these will benefit from some form of amping. They are 60 ohms and 100 dBs in sensitivity, so that's worth bearing in mind. They look beautiful, they feel beautiful in the ears, and of course, as you would expect from a HiFiMan lover, which I unashamedly am, they've done a couple of not so good models, but when it comes to flagships, Fang knows what he's doing, and he's built a great sounding and a great looking this time, and also contoured beautifully for a lovely generic fit into anyone's ears. I would have thought those are as good as a custom, if not better, in terms of their comfort. The richness of the sound is there. The sound stage is pulled in slightly from the RE2000, and I believe that's because the RE2000 has a slightly airier sound than the rich sound of the Svanar. These are almost like an in-ear monitor trying to create a fuller sound using the impression as if you were listening to a full-size set of headphones, rather than the RE2000 certainly still felt like you were listening to in-ear monitors. Although I still love the sound of those, well, the Svanar has just got more finesse, more panache, and more richness to it, not only in that gold effect brass plating there on the driver shell and the aluminium at the back. The HiFiMan Svanar is going to win a lot of HiFiMan listeners over, and I don't envy you the choice if you are stuck between, do I sell on my RE2000s and go for the latest in-ear model from HiFiMan. HiFiMan, as every Chinese company, is trying to innovate and trying to improve each time. I feel they've done that with the Svanar. They've got rid of the few of the quibbles I had about their previous design. It looks as if it's possible that you might be able to put generic cables in, but I'm still a bit dubious about that. Yes, the tips don't look like the absolute latest thing in high-end luxury, and you know, the black connections don't look absolutely fantastic. But if you're paying out $1,995 for these, your interest is going to be in one thing and one thing only, and that is the sound quality that these produce. So let me give these the Geekology seal of approval. These are worthy of a flagship sound quality. You have been listening to the Geekology channel. I will be back very soon with a HE1000 Stealth review, amongst many other things. Until then, keep a very close eye on developments herein in the UK. This is the Geekology channel, signing off.